Hi folks, I've received some questions about CentOS 7, so I'm going to give a little tour here. Now this is my CentOS 7. I've got a dual monitor set up. So this of course is the left monitor, and this is the right. And I have a desktop background that I span across both windows. And anyway, I think it's kind of cool looking. So, obviously if you've seen Gnome before, I'm not going to show you much of anything new. But this is just kind of to contrast the Gnome desktop that I've got here, and I also have the KDE desktop, KDE Plasma. And I'm going to show you a little later in this video what the Plasma looks like. And so, the Gnome is nice. I absolutely love the Gnome, actually. I mean, once you learn the keyboard shortcuts and everything, it's quite simple to use. Some people complain about it. Once you've added the dash to dock to make it where your applications are readily accessible, and also the applications menu up here, it's yeah, the Gnome 3 desktop is awesome. Now this assumes you've got the hardware to run it. I've had some pretty miserable experiences trying to use this on a low spec machine, but you have to match what you're going to run on the machine to the specs of the machine, obviously. So your mileage will vary depending on what your computer can do. If you have a low spec machine, obviously you're going to get a lighter desktop to have a decent experience, but that's neither here nor there. Let me go ahead and go through a couple of quick things here. So as part of the Gnome desktop, you get this application installed, right? So that's always neat. And it'll show you the ones you already have installed. It'll show you those that are available and updates and all that. And one little quirk I have with this operating system is that it doesn't want to automatically connect to the internet or to the network. It's not a big deal, it's just something I have to remember to do with it. And I haven't really put any effort into trying to solve that because it's really not a big deal to me. But there are times when I'll go to launch a browser and then it says it can't connect, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to turn the network on. So yeah, it is. If I get to a point where I have absolutely nothing better to do, I'll probably look into fixing that. But it's probably just going to amount to checking a box to connect automatically or something. I don't know. Let me see here. You have limited number of settings that you can make, like your LXDE, XFCE. You got all kinds of settings for colors and all this that you can do within the desktop itself. So you're kind of limited as far as the Gnome goes with that, just as far as that goes. But once you factor in the Gnome tweak tool, then you can also install other icons. You can do different themes, so you can do some things with it. Not as much as you can do with some of those other ones, but Gnome is highly customizable through the theming and the icons. So I would say don't discount it just for that. I have the dark theme disabled. I found that when you enable that, it kind of blacks out a lot of things and they're hard to see. It looks kind of cool, kind of dark and awesome, but at the same time you're struggling to read things, and that's not something I need. Is more trouble reading, seeing, as I'm not as young as I used to be. So obviously if you're gonna run Gnome, you're gonna want to add some extensions. Like I had mentioned, I've got the applications menu turned on. I've got the dash to dock, and that's the only two I've got on here. If I used it every day, I would probably have more. But this is just something to stay familiar and become familiar with CentOS, and and the world that it lives in. Let me see, what else is there to show? I mean, let's see. So, yeah, this is the icons and whatnot that we have here. As you can see, I've got the NVIDIA driver right here, and it's a script that you have to run whenever you update the kernel. That's why I haven't deleted it or tucked it away. It just makes it easy to get to, so I can get to it in the command line to reinstall the NVIDIA driver. And yeah. So something that I added, because well, yeah, I added this I think before I installed Gnome. Like I say, it came with the KDE as I installed it. By default, it'll install the Gnome desktop environment, but I didn't know that, so it gave me the choice for KDE and didn't give me the choice for Gnome. So I said, well, I'll install KDE, and then later on installed Gnome over top of it. But it's nice to have choices anyway. I enjoy choices. So this is a YoMax or YoMaxtender. And this is something you're going to need to use. Yeah, you're going to add some repositories, and you're also going to, yeah, see there, it looks like I've got some updates I could install. Like I said, I don't use this every day, so you know, I'm not going to start installing them right here, right now, and then end up having to fix something. I'm not looking for a project today, but I'll get to those when it's convenient. But this YoMax is pretty handy. It gives you a graphical interface that you can use to install packages. So between these two package managers, the YoMax and the one that comes with Gnome, installing packages on CentOS is pretty easy. Let me see here. I had let me see if I've got anything worth looking at here. So this is a Firefox, of course, and so you got computers, Linux, and under CentOS. So what I do with all my operating systems is I organize my bookmarks here. You know, I've got Linux, I got Windows, I got stuff for the Hackintosh, FreeBSD, and that's just a personal thing that I do. So under Linux, I got bookmarks for OpenSUSE, I got Universal Resources, I got stuff for Gentoo, Solus, Ubuntu, Arch, Mint, Grub Specific, CentOS, Red Hat, and in a lot of ways, stuff that you can do with Red Hat and stuff you can do with CentOS will be universal. Pretty much, if you can do it with CentOS, you can apply that same thing to Red Hat. So let me see here. Here we are. Yeah, EPEL right here. EPEL. If you're gonna mess with CentOS, you're gonna need to learn about EPEL, extra packages for enterprise Linux, and that'll allow you to install a bunch of good extra packages. You know, codecs, Flash, and extra other packages that just don't come in the repos. Because I mean, for all intents and purposes, CentOS is for servers. Yeah, you can make a desktop out of it. You can make a nice one out of it, obviously. But you know, out of the box, you're looking at a very basic repository structure. So you'll have to add some repos to use it. It seems very stable. I don't use it very much. I haven't had many problems with it. There are times, like when I'll install updates, and I'll come back to start it, and it'll hang right there where it's loading, where it's trying to initialize the desktop. Well, that's pretty obvious what the problem is there. We've updated the kernel and broken the video driver. So you go back into, you have to shut it down. I usually have to force the computer to shut off. and then go back and catch it at the boot screen, and press the E to edit, and then all you'll do is you'll go down to the line where it shows it where its hard drive is, and the UUID number and the boot splash quiet and all that. You look for that, those keywords. You find the line that says that, and then at the end of that line you add a 3. Then it'll start and it'll be in the command line only. So then once that's finished, you can, once it's ready to go, all you do is you run that script I showed you, this one right here. Yeah, remember how to use your computer, Verne? Yeah, you run this script, you know, so you'll just navigate to it where you're already going to be in your home folder, so there's no navigation, so you just type ls to see it, and then you can just type the first few letters, you know, do your / thing, and then first few letters, hit the tab key, it'll finish it, and then you press enter. It'll run the script, install the driver. Then you can just reboot, or you might be able to just type init 5 and it'll start the desktop environment. But so it takes a little getting used to use this operating system, and you know, it's been fun to learn all that stuff. So people ask, you know, what do you think of it? Is it a good choice? It's a great choice. It's a great operating system, but don't expect that you're going to be able to just put a disk in and be ready to use it, because it's going to take some work. So I'll show you the KDE next, and then I'll let you go. Today I just thought I would log in and kind of remember what the KDE Plasma was all about here. And you know, it kind of reminds me of OpenSUSE, the way it used to be when you get it with KDE back in let's see, OpenSUSE 13, I guess, 13 and prior. You know, when you get that, it was very elegant. Today they're going with that flat theme, and it lost a lot of its elegance, in my opinion. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So you know, and they did a little bit of branding on it, and that's pretty nice. You got the start screen with the little CentOS icon on it. That's cool. Logo. And this is your basic start menu you got there. And but just like the highlighting and the subtleties, there's an elegance to it that many desktops just simply lack, in my opinion. Hey, let me open up like another one to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, like this is the file manager, right? And like, look at the subtle little things here, like the way that highlights when you mouse over it. And you know, just little things like that is stuff that I really have always liked about the KDE. And then now this is console, of course. That's the terminal you get in KDE. So you know, it's a unique theming deal they put to it. I'm pretty sure all I've done with this is just to install the NVIDIA driver. I've still got the desktop, unless I'm mistaken. I'm still using the desktop that came out of the box. I could be wrong about that. Let me see. So desktop settings. Let me see, what's this? Yeah, this is the one I'm using apparently. And so let's see if we switch it to that one. Yeah, there we go. And let's see. And as you can see here, as I switch back and forth between windows, or between screens I should say, You have to set each desktop independently. That's a common thing with KDE. So if you want a spanning one, the only solution I've found to do that is to simply take a large image, cut it in half, and use half on one monitor and the other half on the other. And then you got to make adjustments so it'll align right and all that. And it's tedious, but it's doable. So anyway, a lot of people will just use the CentOS as it comes with the Gnome, but I wanted to show you. See now, there, look at it here. Like I said, I mouse over the OK button here. I mean, just that nice little glow that you get. I mean, that's little subtle things that just make it seem elegant to me. And that's one of the reasons that I really like the KDE, the old KDE, like you get here with CentOS 7. Alright, well, this was never intended to be a complete review or a complete tour of everything you can do with this operating system, but you get an idea of the look and feel. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you all later.